Did you ever hear the thing that problems happen at the worst time? This is a prime example. Came home late from judo. Of course, stopped by and checked on the fish, tucked the dog out. And the plant filter had clogged and was allowing water to overflow a little. It not only clogged the overflow valve, but the second valve. So two valves clogged. I don't know if it's from leaves or what. I instantly shut it off. The bottom of the liner was up towards the top where so much water was under. Probably, I'm guessing 500 gallons. So you can see, first thing I did is start putting new water in because it had a good 6 to 8 inches there. I took off a rock, stuck a hose under it, and began draining the water that's underneath it. And it is still draining steadily. So it's one of those things where you always want to catch it. And no matter how many backups you make plans, sometimes alertness just saves everything. I can't imagine losing all these guys. As you can see, it's 3 foot deep normally. This side's got about, I don't know, 2 feet, maybe a foot of water underneath it. And over here had a lot more, which I'm siphoning off. As I siphon off and fill up, it's just going back into shape. I'll have to keep on and probably have to readjust it come, you know, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit Saturday and Sunday. Make sure it's right. You can see I got my 2 flashlights here. But it's pretty heavy because that rock's about 2 feet deep. There's water under it, but I'll make sure I get at least 24 inches of water, actually water that's inside the liner on this side. And I will take care of it, and I will let the hose run until it takes out all the bottom water that's going to. And then come the weekend, I'll pull some more stuff off. And if I have to, I'll put a small pump in there and drain it. But it's red clay underneath it, 100%. And it would take forever. I mean, before we put the liner in, it got about a foot of water in it, and I tried to wait for it to go away, and it wasn't going away at all. It was there for weeks. So I had to clean it off, then let the clay dry, and then put, you know, my underlining on it and everything. Don't think it's a leak because the liner is almost only a couple years old. Could be, but I did see this plant filter leaking over, so I know that's what was causing it. I unhooked it, let it go back down to where, you know, it will be enough to keep the plant filter alive, but I ain't worried about the plant filter. Worried about the fish, but everybody seems to be doing good. Waterfall and the filter's still working, so it's progress being made. And when it gets back up to where another normally does, about another 5-6 inches, then I'll test it and make sure. But it's slowly going down and filling at the same time, so it's one of those progress things. Yeah, hope y'all are having a good night's sleep. Update you later. Okay, got a little update. As you can see, the water's gone way down underneath the liner. Still got a little ways to go above the liner, 4 or 5 inches, but it's constant battle. You take it out and you're adding. Fish are doing well. I probably will try to get it to 2 feet tonight. And then I'll take that, let the drain out. It'll be fine with a couple feet of water in there. It's close to that now. Just let it keep filling and filling. Some interesting things over here. As you can see, the water has been getting pushed out underneath the liner, especially right in here. You can see the hose going through. And it's draining everything out, falling right back into place. And this is all really wet from where it's being pushed over from underneath and outside the liner. You can see it from that rock right there. It's dry down below, and it's wet in here. And our hose is still draining. So it's still doing its thing. I'll like to check around here just to make sure. But it looks like the leaves got me this time. And it looks like you can see there was a bunch falling, so that's what it was. Filter's still working well. But I'm just glad I didn't get lazy and go to bed. Luna insisted we come outside. She had to go out and chase something. And thank God. Could have been a bad result. But if you look at the water level, it's basically staying about the same, but it's siphoning out. So I got my conditioner here, of course. I'm a prime. And I'll put that in when it comes time. Somebody once told me that a hose ran at about 800 gallons an hour. So I suspect I'm gonna have to put about 800 gallons in here. And then I'll probably have to pump some out tomorrow to continue. But the weight of the water going in is pushing the water up and over. And of course the hoses work doing its magic still too. So. You can see the koi are doing good. This side has gone down, so they're able to swim over here pretty easily. It's every bit of a foot and a half. Yep. I'll give you another update later. Probably a good time to take a look at everybody. Check them out. Here's the Yamabuki on the end. Yeah. I didn't care too much for the light. I don't want to add any extra stress. See, that rock is 2 feet deep. And I tested it with my pole, and it was about 18 inches. So another 6 inches and we'll be good to go for the night. Give you all an update later. Finished draining the water out. As you can see, it's still wet. It drained a little all night, but the pressure kept it up. Fish are doing great. Liner's back in place. So, onward we go. We'll clean it up some more this evening. It should be back in order. Fishy, fishy. Still got some water draining out from where the pressure of having the water inside push it out. You can see it over here. Coming out of this corner, which is the low point. Still wet here, little. So here's where I went in and just stuck it, the hose under, crammed it down to the bottom and just drained it out. I'll let it go like this tonight until I get home from work tonight, this evening. I'll fill it the rest of the way up. Take out the rest of the water, put the rocks back in place. Consider myself real lucky. Y'all have a good day. Well, everything's doing much better. I did leave the drain hose in case there's any extra water underneath. This is Friday, so a day and a half since I came home, I found all my water underneath the pond, just about. Whatever you do, always make sure you got enough dechlorinator. Take care of, to do 100% water change in case you need to. Far I can figure that was probably, 75% water change, which on the schedule will do anyway. But with the fall, the leaves are starting to fall, stuff's clogging up. You can see the plant filter did dry out some in spots, but it'll be okay. I still don't have it running full time. I just fill it with a bucket. But look at all the shorter leaves that just exploded out. So that's probably a normal part of its life cycle, that it'll have a little dry period and then it'll refill. So, but the important thing is the koi are doing great. It's never a good feeling when you had a full day at work and came home and taught judo and think you're taking the dog out for the last time and getting ready to go to bed, and you end up having to work 4 hours on getting everything cycled back, the water put back to where it was. But the important thing is, I guess the fail-safe sort of failed, but sort of saved too, because it did delay how long it, was draining. When I move to the bigger plant filter, I'm going to actually put a sub pump in there. Not a sub pump, but a flow valve, and that way it'll automatically refill if it gets below a certain level. Y'all have a good Friday. All right, Friday evening. Just got home from work. Pond's still doing well. Still got to add about 6 inches of water in it. I'll do that this weekend. Kayla coming up to get a big gulp. That's an eating fish, man, does she love to eat. I don't know if you noticed, but on this side, she's always had a lot more black. And as she grows, they're starting to get separation with red scales on the other side too. Never be a great, as far as, you know, the way it's supposed to be, the black, assuming it will never be what it was, but that's just a great fish with the size. Really like her. It's getting close to time to pull these guys in. In the past, when I would go up a Call to Koi and get new fish, I would pull these guys in and have, you know, the new ones go into the mud, into the pond here. Then that way I'd have time to cycle it out, you know, make sure everything's no problems. I would take the filter inside and just leave a smaller filter because I don't have one, maybe two fish in here. So, don't know if I'll do that again this year. We'll have to see. There goes a big girl. Goshki, starting to get a little more darkness to her. But I think this is a good way to close everything out. Take you over and look at the filter, just how full it is inside. And I do keep some water in it at all times. I'm just not running it right now because I don't want to take a chance. But I'll take all this out probably this weekend, clear out all the dead stuff, anything that can get clogged up, and go from there. You know, put an extra plug in it probably to make sure it gives me a little bit more of a warning.